The system is failing. We're going to have more homelessness, more unemployment, and the government has to print more money. It's a command and control economy where the government tells you everything. I just don't trust our government. And they're going to have to start printing pretty quickly. And the more they print, the less value purchasing power the dollar has, or the loonie, or the yen, or the peso. People are talking about inflation. I think we're in depression right now, and we're going to be the biggest depression in world history. In the 1970s, that's when the world was changing. The biggest bust in the history of the world is coming up. It's pensions. They trusted the government. They trusted their pension would be there, and it's going to go bust. And that's us. We'd get crushed.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. As ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something from my perspective that many of you may not even know. I have never seen such robust action and such robust discussions happening over the digital currency industry. U.S. lawmaker is calling on the SEC to issue crypto regulations and says a formal regulatory process is needed now. Regulations for the crypto industry is coming to the United States. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a bumpy road. But something I'm going to tell all of you is that XRP and other compliant tokens, other tokens trying to work with the new system, are going to absolutely explode. We've seen extreme strength from cryptos like Quant recently. Quant is working with the system, and I believe that same level of growth is in store for XRP down the road. Oh guys, I'm really excited, and a big reason why is because of this. Here we see Gary Gensler is actually giving a bit of a concession to the CFTC. Ladies and gentlemen, we know how predatory Gary has been for the crypto industry, but is this an initial sign that Gary Gensler is willing to hand over power to the CFTC, with him saying the CFTC should get more power to oversee stablecoins? He also discussed how the CFTC doesn't have direct rulemaking over some non-security crypto tokens. Ladies and gentlemen, let me make myself very clear. I agree with Gary Gensler that many cryptos in the market right now are actually security tokens. However, not all cryptos come in the same size. Not all cryptos are made the same. And this is the issue that I come to. We need clear regulations for cryptos that will be commodity tokens, utility tokens. And once that happens, which I think is coming soon due to these level of conversations happening in the public, oh baby, that's when we get our bank money. You see, there's a specific reason why Ripple and XRP are going through this lawsuit right now. And it's because of the traditional powers that be. It's because the United States has the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. That's why every single other country on the planet has given XRP clarity as a non-security. And that's why XRP is viewed as such a threat in the US. The JP Morgans, the Goldman Sachses, they're threatened by XRP because XRP cuts into their pockets and their profits. This is a powerful clip from Kevin O'Leary describing exactly why JP Morgan views Ripple, XRP, and the crypto industry as a whole as a negative for their business model. And when you realize JP Morgan and the big banks control the world, you'll understand why Ripple got unfairly sued. Please take a listen.
Jamie Dimon really continued to beat down on it. He said very recently that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are nothing but a decentralized Ponzi scheme.
Yep. So let me qualify my statements on this because I'm an investor in JP Morgan as well. I have a lot of respect for him. He may be one of the most successful banking managers in the history of that sector. However, that was an uninformed statement. And it was not helpful at a time when we're trying to drive regulation through two different bills on the Hill right now. I, along with many other private investors, have been spending a lot of time in Washington on this. Essentially what Jamie said there, he was talking his book. This is my interpretation. He feels threatened by some of this technology, particularly around payment systems, because banks make money transferring assets. It's a cost of friction in the system. And one of the only reasons that I invested in Circle, and I'm an investor in Circle, I'm supporting their initiative, and I'm a big believer in what stablecoins can do, is it's time to get rid of that friction. And it's not important that banks be protected so that they can make fees from that friction. When you transfer the US dollar into the Swiss franc to buy Nestle on the Zurich exchange, these banks add zero value. There's no value created in ACH transfer fees. If we could use a stablecoin that was regulated and approved by both sides of that transaction, it would be more transparent, it would be much faster, it would definitely be more productive, but above all, I would save millions of dollars. And so would everybody else. I can't wait till we can do that, because that kind of innovation should be supported, and it is. And that's why we're all here. This isn't about, speculation on asset price. This is about reducing the fees of how the world's economies work. More transparent, more productive, completely auditable, regulated, but less expensive. So does Jamie Dimon feel threatened? You're damn right he does. That's a big part of how he makes money. Too bad.
And ladies and gentlemen, that right there is why Ripple got sued. Here, this is an incredible visual for the other reason Ripple got sued as well, from Guy Swan. Perspective matters. Plenty of you have probably seen this chart of the US dollar being extremely strong relative to other fiat currencies. However, in reality, this is what the visual should look like. Every fiat currency is collapsing, except the US dollar is the strongest of all fiats because we are the world's reserve currency. However, we will be the last fiat that collapses, and I believe the biggest collapse in world currencies is coming soon, and the US dollar's role as the global reserve will implode. When hyperinflation takes flight, the crypto industry will thrive because of it. They're going to need a reset in fiat, but that's going to come with the same utility XRP provides that Kevin O'Leary was describing. Ripple and XRP were built to try and make the plumbing of the financial system frictionless. And that is the multi-trillion-dollar problem Jamie Dimon is afraid that Ripple and XRP will solve. Those two reasons, the big banks being threatened and the US dollar's role as the global reserve being threatened, are why I believe Ripple and XRP got sued. But they cannot stop what's coming. I believe they've actually prepared for it. Because at the end of the day, the entire world doesn't give a damn about what happens in the US.
Most people outside the United States don't really care that the SEC is suing us. I'll tell you a very quick, funny story. I'll keep it short. I was in the Middle East last fall, and we were meeting with customers. I have one of the Ripple team members who's based there. It's really early in the morning. My time zones are all screwed up. We're meeting the CEO of a payments company, and but the employee from Team Ripple says, "Well, why don't you give an update on what's going on at Ripple?" And I start talking about the SEC. And after the meeting, he very delicately says to me, "No one gives a shit." And his point was, if you're not in the United States, the governments in Abu Dhabi, governments in Switzerland, Singapore, UK, Japan, they provided the clarity how they view and categorize digital assets, and they don't care that the United States SEC has a viewpoint that is, pending in court.
The thing to understand is today, when the SEC sued Ripple, basically every exchange in the United States either halted trading of XRP or delisted XRP. So for all intents and purposes, XRP does not have liquidity in the United States. Ripple as a company, we have grown gangbusters over the last 2 years, but we've signed hundreds of new contracts with financial institutions globally, and very, very few here in the United States, because in the United States most financial institutions will say, "Hey, let's wait and see what happens here." So when people ask me what happens if we lose, I'm already operating as if I lost, right? The XRP doesn't trade in the United States. It can't get worse, right? So I mean, look, it is kind of funny. It's also like what the problem is with having a regulator who, in this case, they're kind of being a bully, and they're kind of the reason why they're able to get a lot of settlements is because people don't have the financial resources, the commitment to really fight it. And would we be in a better position now had we tried, been more flexible in settling way back when? Maybe, but the whole industry would be in a worse place.
Ladies and gentlemen, that 1-2 punch that Brad Garlinghouse just mentioned cannot go overlooked. Brad discussed how nobody outside of the US gives a shit about what the SEC is doing. 1. And 2, Ripple and XRP are operating as if the worst case scenario has been in effect. Delisted from every US exchange, and most US partners will not want to sign deals with them. That is how strong Ripple is, able to withstand so much and maintain its position in the top 5 digital assets. That is remarkable. But now, we're showing strength as far as price is concerned. And it's because I believe the whales know, and the insiders know, that favorable moves are happening in XRP's direction. We have to remember, Ashish Birla, Ripple's former GM of RippleNet, stated we're close to having a global coverage of on-demand liquidity. XRP is not just US. XRP is global takeover. XRP already has the rest of the planet under its belt as far as regulation is concerned. I am a believer in a flip of the switch moment, and I believe that moment is clarity in the US. Regulations being written in the background. The people internationally that have all the money are letting you know what they're invested in. Kevin O'Leary's letting you know that the banks are frightened. And we should all copy and paste what the billionaires and multi-trillion-dollar institutions are doing. They're partnering with Ripple. They've trialed XRP. And I'll leave you with this quote from Rosie Rios, probably one of my favorite members on Ripple's board. She was the former US Treasurer of the United States. Her name is on all the damn money on the planet. And you need to listen to her words and understand that she's on Ripple's board, not because she thought they were going to fail, but because she thinks Ripple and XRP have the chance to be the new money, the new plumbing for the global financial system. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
I'm Rosie Rios, former Treasurer of the United States and current board member of Ripple. What I like to talk about is really kind of this intersection between government and innovation. Certainly coming from the Bay Area, born and raised in Silicon Valley, I've seen a lot of change over time. And what I love is the conversation is really starting to happen in a constructive way where I think we as a region, we as a country, and perhaps we as a globe could really think about the future of fintech and who the stakeholders are and how we can make this effective for everyone. So when you think about growth, it's not just kind of GDP growth, which of course is a big part of the economy, but it's also where new growth comes from. And that usually comes from, certainly lately, in technology and innovation. So I think the benefit of why business and government should be working together is, again, providing that level of certainty for further expansion, further growth, and certainly more jobs for the economy. So blockchain is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And so it's not just how to facilitate commerce. There are other applications, whether it's NFTs, whether it's, selling real estate, whether it's, any type of financial ledger that can be recorded for posterity's sake. This is here to stay. And it's important and incumbent upon the government at every level, whether it's local, whether it's state, whether it's national, to really give some thought as to how those applications are going to benefit them and benefit everyone. But I think what's most important is what are those guardrails? What are those tracks that we can lay down in order to move forward in a way that really blazes the trail for future growth and future opportunities that we don't even know are there yet?